Again, talents, let's continue moving the box. So what we had so far, okay, so we have it stuck in the middle and we want to fix it, right? So let's have a look in the code, and it's basically get the value 0, right? And then it doesn't call this code because it's not on the bottom, and it can be on the bottom because it will change into being on 0. So how to fix that? First of all, let's move all of this code to another function. So I have here this hammer, and then when I press it, I can extract this method. This is the functionality of SpriteRenderer, but you can actually find it in a lot of other IDEs. Okay, and let's just calling it, I'll be very simple, okay, so I call it moving up box. Okay, and we have it here, and the greatest thing about putting something in a different method, in a different function, is we can reuse the code. So I can just copy this and put it here on the start, and when we start the game, it will actually move up the box. So even though the y here is with 0, because we didn't give it any value, it will go to this code, and it will randomize the y, randomize the x, and randomize the factor. So let's see if it works the way we expect it. I call this kind of process validating our assumption. So I had an assumption, this will fix it, and I validate it. And many times because we're in a hurry and because we're starting to program and we're not really sure how to do it, we assume that things are working, and so the best practice is to actually validate our assumption. Okay, so this is really nice. Okay, it got a speed, and it going to that speed. Now let's do something a bit different. You know that how it is when you look in the sky and you see an airplane, and when the airplane is far away, it looks like he's moving really slow, but if he's close to us, it looks like he's moving really fast, right? So let's do something a bit like this. So we randomize the speed using the factor, right? So let's actually change the size of it. Okay, so how would we do that? So we know that when we randomize the factor here, okay, we get value between 2 and 2.5 and 4.5. And so let's also randomize the size. And how would we do it? We do something like this. Here we change the transform dot position, right? We can do the same for the scale. So transform dot scale. So it will be transform dot current scale something. Oh, I forgot it. Local scale. Okay, so transform dot local scale. This is also, I believe, yeah. So this is also a vector 3. So let's do it. So it's new vector 3, and let's just use, so here we have 2.5 and 4.5, and this is actually not the best values, but let's do something like this. So we'll do, okay, let's do the fact, okay, and we'll divide it by, okay, not fact, we'll, okay, yes, fact divided by 4.5. I'll explain the math in a minute, and we'll do it again here. And here we'll just put 1. So let me explain it. So the factor will be 4.5. Factor is a value between 2.5 and 4.5. So when I divide it here, I'll get something that is somewhere between half and 0 and 1, sorry, and here is the same. So I get an x value between 0 and 1, sorry, between half and 1, and the same goes for y. And because we have the same factor that was randomized here, we will get the same value. So let's see how it influences the way it works here, but we'll do another thing. Okay, so let me do a few of these. Okay, so instead of one moving box, I'll do a few moving boxes, and this will be easier to show, hopefully. Let's say, as I said before, let's validate my assumptions. So I'm doing the play now, and I have a few of them, and see that they are moving in different speeds, and they are recalculated. Okay, they change the size of them, and it's really nice actually. Okay, so they move in different speeds. As the smaller they are, they move slower. The larger they are, they move faster, and they still move inside the limitation, right? So this is actually great, but it's really hard to see them, right? So let's change it a bit. So this is something a bit different. I'm going to do something a bit different here. So I'm going to do private, and I'll call this SpriteRenderer. Now SpriteRenderer is a component. Okay, it's a component of this object, and I'll just call it SR. And the way I get SR, I'll do it right here. Okay. First of all, you see all these warnings. Let's change it a bit. So I'll refactor it. Okay, it says it wants it with a lower line. Okay, so let me do it for a second here. Do it here. So this is the way it expects me to name a private variable, and I accept it. And okay, so SR is equal to get component. This is the way to get a component of our object, and I want to tell it exactly which component to get. So I'll go SpriteRenderer. So SpriteRenderer is basically the sprite, and it tells us how it should look. So one of the things we can change is actually the color. So how would we change the color? So this is going to be very interesting. So I'm going to do something like this. Say private color. So this is the array of color. We'll talk on array later. Just call it colors, and I'll say it will equals to new blah blah blah, and I'll put here the colors. So this is a shortcut. Okay, and I'll put here the colors. So it can be color dot. Let me think. It doesn't like it. Why? Cannot resolve symbol color. Why? Oh. Okay, there's another way to do it. So I can just, I think, wait a second. Okay, maybe it's the type, yeah, okay. Never mind, something with the English, in my English font, or possibility. So let's just put a few colors here. Okay. So, actually, Rider really helped me do it really easily. Okay, and okay, so let's start with this. So we have a few colors here, and we want to give it a random color. So how many colors do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I want to randomize it, and I actually want not, let's just give it random value. It doesn't matter exactly which color. So I'll do it like this. So we have the SpriteRenderer, and I want to change the color, and I want to do it from colors, and I want to pick a random one. So we'll do it like this, random.range, and I'll just pick from 0 to, it doesn't even matter if it's 5, but you know what, let's use it. So I'll use colors dot length. This is for array, and again we'll talk about array in probably a later tutorial, but basically what it means, it picks one of them random and it puts it as the color. So this will change our display to be much more colorful. So if I go back to empty, okay, and I run it, okay, and we have all these colors, and when they go down, they go back up, and they get another color, and they're getting randomized. And you know what, we can do another thing. Okay, so let's do one more thing with this variable and random. And we actually did randomize, right? We did here the randomize of this factor of scale. Okay, and let's do something a bit more smarter. So so let's do I'll call it like fact ratio. This will be equal, and I'll call it private, and it should be with the underline. I'll just take this and put it here. This is much smarter way to do it. So we don't need private here, we just need float. And let's just use it here. Now the reason I put it inside another variable, because I want to reuse it. So I already used it twice here, so this is already a good practice, but I can actually do something more. So the SpriteRenderer also has, we've seen it has the color, but also have, I believe, alpha, probably color dot alpha dot a. Yeah, so this is changing the opacity or the alpha, and this is a value between I believe 0 and 1 or 0 and let's just try something. So let's just put the fact ratio. Now we'll see how it works. So it's a property color access return term per I cannot modify structure. Okay, I cannot change it like here. So okay, let me wait a sec. Let me check for a second. Okay, so I did a small search in Google to find a solution, and basically I'll do something like this. So color temp color, for example, equals not this one. We already have a good calculation of color, so I'll use it like this. Okay, and then the temp color dot alpha would be using a fact ratio actually. So this is between 0 and 1, and hopefully this will be what we need. And let's just change the SpriteRenderer color to be this color. So this is either going to work, or either we're going to probably won't see anything because it will be too small of a value. Oh no, it actually works great, right? So okay, so it has a little alpha, and we might do it. We might change it a bit. So you know what? I like it. Let's just keep it like this. So we can play with the value and the math to do something else, but let's just look on what we did here. So we created a lot of boxes that change the color, change the speed, and randomize the location. And we did all of it. Basically, the real change is here with this if, making move back up, and using this this variable. Okay, we also used this variable, but this variable is the one that actually changed about everything. So this is really nice and powerful demonstration of what we can do with variable and if conditions. So let's just have another look, and let's just duplicate all of this. Now look, it's really nice because they are all in the same place, and it works perfectly, and we can actually take all of them, just move them up here. In the middle it doesn't matter because it's randomized as on start, and we get a whole bunch of these guys, right? And if we want to to make them spread a little more, we can actually change. We do here the y, right? So let's change it. Instead of just lim x, let's use lim x times 3. Okay, so it's going to spread much more. And let's run it again. Okay, and because they appear in different places and different speed, it's starting to look like a continual movement of colors. We see it has some issues getting the red value. No, here it is. Okay, really nice. Okay, so this was really simple. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and you have some understanding on how powerful working with the variables and if can really be, especially if you're studying with coding and game development. This is some, it's when you dive into it and look at variables and ifs and all the things that you have to learn to program, it seems like it's really might be complicated and you can't understand exactly what to do with it. So one of my purpose with this tutorial is to give you the understanding of what can really be done with these with all these tools that programming give us. So hope you enjoyed this talent, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.